Hey, let's dive in for a full study plan to help you complete your entire syllabus, practice and revise in a short period of time. And you will ace your exams with these tips. So let's get going. Hey, this is Chetna and you're watching ChetChat. It's a Friday once again, and today I will share with you the 5 best strategies to help you complete your entire syllabus in the fastest possible way and get top marks in your exam. Strategy number 1, pre-test. Before you begin studying any subject, take a test. Example, if you're in class 10, you could solve the CBSE or ICSE sample papers. If you've already solved them, then many schools are preparing mock papers and circulating them. In fact, if you just go online and search, you will find several sample papers, mock papers or previous year question papers. Take one paper per subject, any paper. It doesn't matter which school it was prepared by. Now, suppose the paper is for a duration of 2 hours. Take out a clear slot of 2 hours of time where you know you will not be disturbed. Sit in a quiet spot with a glass of water and all the required stationery and attempt the paper in exactly the same way you would attempt the final exam paper. Moving on to strategy number 2, analyze your performance. Now, the CBSE and ICSE websites also give you detailed mark schemes for every sample paper. Every half mark is explained. Now, you do this exercise very thoroughly. This way, you will get a very good idea of how the marking is being done and what are the expectations of the examiners. Let's take the CBSE Term 2 Science sample paper and let's read question number 2. There are 2 subparts and the total marks are 2. This means that each subpart has 1 mark each. Now, let's read part A. Which elements would react together to form covalent compounds? The answer would have 2 elements and each element would fetch you half a mark. Now, let's read part B. Between the 2 elements W and Z, which will have a bigger atomic radius? Y. Once again, this 1 mark is divided between the 2 parts of the question. First, you need to state either element W or element Z, whichever you think has a bigger atomic radius. And the next half mark is for the reason. The second part of the question was why. So we have to give a reason. And since this reason is only for half a mark, a single sentence clear answer will suffice. Doing this activity will help you complete your syllabus faster and in a more focused manner because now you are fully aware of how you're going to be tested. One important thing, notice that some questions had internal choice and you picked 1 out of the 2 options to solve. This is the time for you to read that second option which you did not attempt and try attempting it now. This way, you get a complete picture of your knowledge gaps. Make detailed notes of these gap areas before you begin reading the chapter. Now, before moving on to strategy number 3, I would like to give a shout out to Sia, who left this super cute message on our last video. And if you want a shout out on our next video, you know what to do. You've got to leave a message below with the hashtag ChetChatters. And now for strategy number 3, read the syllabus. You must be wondering, we have to complete the syllabus in the fastest amount of time possible and Chetna ma'am is telling us to do so many other things before we even pick up our books. Yes, this is the secret. Good planning at this stage is the way you will finish your syllabus quickly. So, let's pick up your SST syllabus. Just as an example, the right hand side of the syllabus is literally the type of questions that will come. Let's take a look closely. Let's see the economics section. Under this section of money and credit, one learning output is understand the role of financial institutions from the point of view of day-to-day life. And now, let's see the sample paper, question number 4. State the role of the Reserve Bank of India. Let's look at makings of a global world. One of the learning objectives is analyze the implication of globalization for local economies. And question number 10 is, you got it, assess the impact of globalization on India and its people. So strategy number 3 is spending a few hours on the syllabus. Marking out and understanding this in detail will help you prepare for the type of questions that are certainly going to appear in the examination. Strategy number 4, PQ4R. This study method is based on the work of Francis P. Robinson, an educational psychologist. The PQ4R method is a more active approach to learning which not only improves your understanding of the material, it also helps you remember it better in a shorter period of time. The acronym PQ4R stands for Preview, Question, Read, Reflect, Recite and Review. Let's talk about preview. When you first open your chapter, skim over it. Read the main headlines, understand the structure of the content. Let's say we look at the 4th chapter of the science book, Carbon and its Compounds. The important topics are bonding in carbon, covalent bonds, the versatile nature of carbon, saturated and unsaturated carbon compounds, etc. Question. Next, we go to the syllabus, which will give us our big questions. According to the syllabus, we need to focus on covalent bonding in carbon compounds, the versatile nature of carbon and homologous series. Now, as you read each paragraph, ask yourself, what question can the teacher ask from this paragraph? Write down that possible question. Now, R for read. Read the paragraph once again to understand what could be the best answer to that solution. The next R, reflect. Think about any other information that you may need to answer that question. Ask yourself, do I really understand this material? Could I explain it to somebody else? R for recall. Close your eyes and try to recall if you have the understanding clearly in your mind. And repeated practice may also help you retrieve the material when you need it the most. The next R is review. Review this from time to time. Repeat and go over the important topics once in a week. Now, before we go to strategy number 5, there are 2 very important videos that I want to highlight to you. One that will give you paper presentation strategies to get that last mile completion marks, and the other will give you a topper's timetable. Strategy number 5 is reverse study. Begin with the end in mind, says Stephen Covey. Earlier during the year, when you're studying to understand and you're studying to deeply learn something new, you could study each concept in detail for the sake of true understanding. However, when you're very close to the finish line and completing your syllabus in the fastest way is your only goal, this is the time to reverse study. Focus on the most important learning outcomes from each chapter. Start by going all out to answer those big questions when you're studying. Anticipate what will come in the exam and specifically go about preparing answers for those. Reading the book from page number 1 to page number last like a storybook is not an appropriate approach at this stage. These techniques will help you cover the syllabus in the fastest way possible. And one bonus tip at the end. Exercise regularly for 45 minutes to an hour. Exercise helps the brain receive fresh blood and more oxygen, and all this helps you study better. Meantime, stay healthy, see you next Friday, and happy learning!